Tonight, we're hearing reaction from some of the key players who've been waiting to see public officials held accountable.
That's right. KRQE investigator Gabrielle Burkhart sat down with one of the agencies suing APD and the city of Albuquerque over this scandal.
This is systemic corruption at its finest.
Interim executive for ACLU New Mexico, Leon Howard, knew when news broke of this DWI corruption scheme last year. The public needed accountability. Today, that process starts with local paralegal Ricardo Rick Mendez and what he's admitted to facilitating, roping in DWI suspects and law enforcement officers to fill the pockets of officers and attorneys and ultimately get DWI cases dismissed.
The fact that there's other officers implicated from other departments, it's deeply troubling because now we're talking about law enforcement writ large, as opposed to just one department that we know has been troubled for decades.
In his federal plea agreement, Mendez admits to things KRQE Investigates uncovered last year with a man Howard is now representing in a civil suit.
I knew something wasn't right.
Carlos Smith told KRQE Investigates last year he was called by APD officer Joshua Montano after a DWI arrest.
I knew from that moment I needed to document everything, and I did.
The officer told Smith he could retrieve a bracelet of his from attorney Tom Clear's office. Smith hit record when he met up with paralegal Mendez.
Not the cheapest.
Okay.
So we charged $8,500 when you could do it in payments.
And with me, you representing me, that would guarantee that this doesn't go on my record?
Yes.
According to his guilty plea filed in federal court today, Mendez says this is how the scheme worked. Officers referred suspects to the attorney office, sometimes with their driver's license or, in Smith's case, a bracelet used as collateral. Then Mendez would ask for cash in return for a guaranteed dismissal of charges.
Right now, what we have is a paralegal who had the least to gain from any of these folks coming up and taking accountability, and we're still waiting to see what happened to the people who are actually operating the scheme.
Mendez is the first to face federal charges, but his plea deal indicates there are more key players to hold accountable. Leon pointing out Mendez told the feds senior officers would, quote, help recruit and train the next generation of officers to join the criminal enterprise.
This was going on for decades, and there was recruitment and training around this scheme, and that is just terrifying and shocking.
But people like Smith and others who came forward, he says, will help right a system that's been operating in the shadows and help bring justice to a community that's been deceived.
It's because of their bravery to take on those in power like law enforcement officers to bring this to light.
Gabrielle Burkhart, KRQE Investigates.